Hello and welcome back to 5 Minute Geography. However, this season we're going to be focusing on the Leaving Certificate Geography paper and getting them all important H1 answers by explaining as simply as possible the world around us. So, whether you're a student gearing up for exams or a teacher looking for extra resources, you're in the right place. So, subscribe to stay updated and let's tackle this course together.
In the previous videos, we looked at the features or the processes of erosion, transportation and deposition. We then looked at how the processes of erosion create features of erosion. And in the upper course, we looked at waterfalls, V-shaped valleys and interlocking spurs. Now we're in the middle stage of the river. And in that middle stage, we can find two features here. Our first feature is a feature called a meander, and secondly, its floodplains. Okay, so for the 30-mark question, we're going to focus on meanders, and we're going to look at that in a little bit of detail. So in this video today, we'll focus on the formation of a meander. So the Irish example of a meander is on the River Shannon, but let's find out what a meander actually is. Very simply, a meander is a bend or a curve in the river. So it's a series of gently curving bends in the course of the river. They are very evident in the middle and lower stage of the river. And the processes involved are vertical erosion at this stage is diminished. So it diminishes, it stops. And why is that? It stops because we don't have as much hydraulic action or force of the moving water because the slope is a little more gentler. So the slope isn't as extreme, therefore the speed of the river or velocity of the river is slowed down, and so vertical erosion is calmed down a little bit. Now I'm not saying it doesn't take place, but it just diminishes and it's taken over by lateral erosion, so the side-to-side erosion. So vertical erosion decreases because we don't have as much of a slope as we did in the upper course, and the side-to-side or lateral erosion becomes more dominant. The valley floor then, as a result, because there's lateral side-to-side erosion, the valley floor becomes wider and the sides become less steep. Okay? Whereas in the upper course we had V shapes, now we have a wider shape with less steep sides. So small pools and shallows or potholes develop in the riverbed, and these affect the direction of the flow. So as a river is flowing and it undercuts the river bank, that little notch that it has cut out for itself can force the river to change direction into a direction in a circular manner. We call this a helical flow. Okay, think of helicopter, helical flow. So it caused the river to swing from side to side like this. And as it does this, it continues to notch out parts of the river bank. And this flow is called a helical flow. So the flow creates bends which grow larger due to erosion of the river bank, and the velocity of water is greater on the outside or concave bank. So what do I mean by this? Watch what happens. As the river flows here on the left-hand side, it comes into this little notch here or a bend, and as it does, you can see on the right-hand side, the faster moving current comes around, swings, and it begins to rotate like a helicopter. Look, like this. And as it does that, it digs out this part of the riverbed, the outside bank, and it undercuts. And as it undercuts, it gets material and deposits the material on the other side. Now, it gets energy, breaks off the stuff, it loses energy because it has material in it, and as it drops off that material, it regains energy again. Okay, so that helical flow. And that will mean, by looking at this, the river is going to bend in that direction to the left of the outside bank. And that helical flow is the main reason why meanders are formed. So undercutting occurs by hydraulic action, abrasion, attrition solution, and cavitation. And eventually the bank here, this side of the bank, will collapse. And as it collapses, the material is carried downstream to the convex or the inside bank, and it deposits that material. And that deposited material creates a thing called point bars. So point bars are bits of land that you can actually stand on here. So the material that's been eroded away here is actually being deposited here or here. So due to erosion and deposition on the concave and the convex banks, then the meanders begin to migrate stream. So very simply, we have erosion and deposition, and that's how both those processes of erosion and deposition lead to the bending or curving of the river. Eventually, the bends will become so prominent that the river will then take the quickest path and may just simply cut that off here to create this oxbow lake. But we'll have a look at that in another video.
If there's a particular topic you'd like covered or something you're struggling with, feel free to get in touch in the comment section below and I'll aim to cover it in future videos. So subscribe to stay updated and let's tackle this course together.